Well, hi, I'm Bobsto, the Elder Weeb,
And hi, I'm Red, bald-headed wonder,
and we are the Anime
the
Boys.
anime boys, and don't you forget
The
it.
Anime Boys are really right now. We're kind of the sad boys.
Yeah, we're on the sad train. We're on the sad
But
boy.
hey, look, on the bright side, this is our last catch-up episode,
It
meaning we'll be fully caught up with all of our current anime, and then we can
and
finally, possibly this week, get Demon Slayer recorded.
yes, man, I am so ready to get that damn
I
thing
want to
out of
get
the
that.
way, bro.
It got set back worse than Tanya.
We're very,
I think
very
we sound
sorry.
we sound like broken records. We're sorry, especially Goro Sero, if you've been looking forward to it. But hey, we will get it. Will be done.
We
Demon Slayer will
promise.
return.
It's just been one thing
It's just
after another. So you
yeah,
please try to excuse us.
life life sometimes sucks.
It does
But hey,
suck, and we all can relate. So
thankfully we had all these other wonderful anime to
keep
keep it at bay.
exactly. Like
Whatnot.
we got to cover a little small stuff. That way we weren't just too far behind. And
Mm-hmm.
this is our catch up episode. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be
Oh,
very emotionally disturbing. Um.
all right.
So
So
without further ado, let's get right into Mob Psycho.
episode 6. So we
Hmm.
start off, get flashbacks to the shirt.
Ugh,
And hey, it's pretty good.
it's pretty
Dimple is just
lit.
roast because like everything like this fucking percentage change. It's just going back all the way to the shirt. Like you hear Dimple fucking roasting not Dimple but Reagan being passive about why he doesn't like the shirt. You got fucking Teru being dishonest and whatnot.
You got his
and,
brother Riku, who's not telling him how he feels, and
and then
Dimple just
and
comes
Dimple
in. He says, "I'm about to ruin this man's whole career."
he says, first of all, your Jordans are fake.
Your monkeys on your shirt look fat.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
This man
And
roasts this shirt so hard. He's like, "You woke up this morning and decided this was something good to wear? What is wrong with you? This is a filthy design of creation and you should burn it." Like, what the hell,
yeah,
man?
he is getting
Super,
so vicious.
he's just super roasting Mob. And at this point, Mob has reached his peak. He has hit 100%. With all this, raw emotion coming in on Mob, all of a sudden
Well,
Mob breaks the fuck down. He explodes with
he's
psychic
he's
energy.
he's got that big dick energy.
He's got more than big dick energy, dude. This
Uh,
man blows his entire load, and I mean
you're
that
right.
quite literally.
Becomes a fucking big ass energy root.
Dude, this energy, like, depiction of his energy looks so cool. Like,
Yeah,
because he explodes all of his energy and expands it out through the divine tree and
even
shoots up through the top. It looks
yeah.
like a tree branching off above the divine tree.
Everybody below is like enamored. Hey, even Tsubomi likes it.
Yeah, they're just like, this is beautiful. What's going on within the divine tree? Dimple is fucking freaking out. He's like, I pushed this man over the edge. This is not good. And so Dimple
Yeah,
like puts his shield up and or no. He's just like, oh crap, he's gonna attack, and then everything just falls and fades away.
yeah. He's
You're
just
just
doing
like,
nothing.
I'm sitting here just like, what? Like what?
Mhm.
I'm in my brain, I'm just like, Mobs went fucking. He's overboard. He's finna fuck
Yeah.
Dimple up. This is it. This is
Uh huh.
it. Dimple's finna die. And I'm sitting here, and then all of a sudden, Dimple's just like,
Just
he walks up and tries to say something else to Mob, and Mob gives him a quick look, right? And
yeah.
Dimple's
So,
like, "This is
what's
it.
wrong?
This is the hit." So
What?
he pulls up his entire shield, and when he does, it uppercuts Mob. Mob just flies off
He just fucking takes it.
and takes it. He's flopping onto the ground. He's sitting there,
Yeah.
and Dimple gets to feeling around the air, and he's just like, he's
There's just nothing.
there's nothing there.
It's
I don't feel his
yeah.
presence. He's empty.
One one detail I wanted to know is that I like there's a bit where he steps on a branch, and since he's like all metallic, it makes a metal clanking when he steps on it.
Yeah, that was really, really cool.
Uh-huh. But it's like, oh come on, man, what is all that fight? Need you to fucking fight me. And Dimple's just getting sort of
Dimple
mad.
is pissed because he just
Yeah,
gave up on the fight. He's just like, I won't let you
yeah.
take this opportunity away from me. No, I earned this.
Hmm.
I have proved myself, and you're going to go
Uh-huh.
through with this. And Mob never would have expected this in a million years. He is the
Hmm.
biggest Chad on the fucking planet. Like, blows my mind. He's just
Hmm.
like, you're right. I understand. I
Hmm.
understand why you're doing this. And then at this point, Dimple's infuriated. He's just like,
Hmm.
no, I won't let this happen. He pulls out his fingers needle and
He
swipes it in
does.
front of him.
He pulls the power.
Yeah, he swipes it in front of his face, cutting off part of his, little bowl
His
haircut.
hair. Yeah.
And he's got it sticking right in front of Mob's forehead. And Mob says, and this is the coolest fucking thing ever.
Uh-huh.
He gets there and he's just like, I understand why you're doing this, and I'm very sorry. I
Hmm.
didn't listen to
It,
you. All you wanted to do, after everything I've said to you, was bring me on the journey in your dream so that we could do this together
together.
as friends.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't
Hmm.
listen to you. And
Yeah.
dude, this whole time, just like, what the hell?
Well, it's like where is this going?
Like, where is
And
this
one thing
coming from?
and one thing I like as well is another thing he says like I know you're not gonna hurt me. And he walks forward, and as he does, like the fucking needle just softens and starts to go limp.
It's crazy,
It's
dude.
cool, and we get this whole fucking thing where at first Dimple's like, don't implant your emotions on me," and then you just get this fucking flashback of like Dimple talk about, yeah, so like
Dude, he's
I've
just
reached I've reached the top. I thought because ascending to godhood, my one true dream in life would like bring me so much purpose and meaning. But now that I have it, I feel nothing.
meaningless.
It's nothing. It's not fulfilling
And then
because he doesn't have any concrete thing he wants to do with it. His goal was just be a god, and after that, there's no other plan.
there's no plan at all. And then
Hmm.
he breaks down in his brain. He's like, I now figured out what I truly want, and it's not to
Hmm.
be a god. It's to be with a friend, to be
Yeah,
noticed,
and
to be
to be
visualized as
noticed.
a person.
Yeah.
And Mob is the only one who has ever done that for me.
Uh huh.
And dude,
Exactly.
I'm
It's like really
fucking
good.
in my heart. I'm just breaking down at this point. I'm just like
And
this is
yeah,
crazy.
and another thing I like is like he has this conflict where he's like, that's nice and all, but like at the same time, he has this feeling of he feels like becoming a god is his purpose. So he wants to still try to achieve that, but he knows that it's just going to lead to a very unfulfilling conclusion.
Yeah,
So it's like this emotional tug of war inside him where he wants to be noticed and wants approval and validation from other people and whatnot. But the
but
only way he can see himself getting that also is going to leave him hollow on the inside.
yeah, and he
And
finally figures out that nobody matters except for Mob to him.
Mhm.
Mob is the only relationship that he has with anybody that means anything to him.
Mhm.
And it, man, just this whole episode is just a huge, like,
And then
emotional, heart wrenching moment.
it's just like it's like um it's like the end of the pain fight in Naruto almost.
Yes, that was the good comparison. Like, because
Hmm.
he's just sitting here, he's just like,
I'd
I will
argue
end
it
you.
do it better, and it's more thematically appropriate here because that's what the entire thing about for Mob is like this emotional introspection.
But if you really
Like,
think
sure,
about
there's
it
flash.
too, but pain, it's also
Hmm.
fitting because of
Yeah,
what pain is about.
mhm, yeah,
So he's just trying to show what the true world should be,
hmm,
and he gets his eyes changed to the fact that he's looking at it in the wrong way and
hmm,
realizes the error of his ways. and sees that Naruto is going to take care of that for him. So it's the same
Yeah.
comparison,
Uh,
just in a different
but this,
storytelling way.
but it's just really good, especially because like Mob goes to the extent of like, listen, we like you got carried away, and I know that because I also got carried away. And he was talking about how like after his ego got like how he's talking about how his ego got inflated after he got complimented and was starting to think that girls were noticing him.
Dude,
And
yeah, he got just way too in his own head and forgot about everybody surrounding
mhm,
him. He got full of himself essentially. And for Mob to break down and realize where he's wrong and bite his pride,
yeah,
gosh, dude, it's like
I think this is really good because it shows how far Mob has come since the first season.
definitely his
Like
character has
he has
become
grown so much, and that's one thing I love about Mob Psycho 100 so much. Is that sure there's flashy fights and whatnot, but the emotional core and message of like self growth and trying to better yourself is so poignant and just real good, like so good. Like I
yeah.
love it so
It
much.
has it has that emotional like raw
Hmm.
energy to it that you just don't see in animes. So like
Hmm.
just to appreciate what it truly is,
Hmm.
you have to get
And
into the mind of Mob essentially.
this
And
whole thing was even, I'd say, way better than like a huge flashy fight against Dimple.
I agree. Like to
Like
see two
it's
friends hashing out a squabble amongst themselves was
yeah.
way more rewarding in like viewing it rather than just them fighting each other
Hmm.
neck to neck and Mob regretting his decision. Like
Yeah.
that's just overpowering
And
and
then
emotional and raw, and it's just
mhm.
excuse me,
And so
compelling.
yeah. And so it gets to the point where even Dimple's like, "Hey, listen, I'm just going to sever myself from the divine tree, and we'll just call it. Sure, I'll revert back to my regular self. But you know what? Fine, I'm fine with it." And I like how even Mob's like, "But hey, wouldn't that mean you're just throwing your dream away?"
Yeah,
So even through all this, like Bob still respects that Dimple wants to achieve godhood. It's
exactly.
just
He
that
still
he wants.
respects the image of what his dream
Of,
is.
mhm.
And man, Mob is such a Chad, dude. He's the pinnacle of
Yeah,
what a
man.
friend you would want out of a friend. Um,
Mhm. As they're leaving, he collapses over, and what does fucking Dimple do? He just fucking takes him up on their shoulders, and they just have this really nice talk,
they're just
and
like,
it's
hey,
so.
let's go home. Let's go
They talk
home.
about like hey, like how are you even thinking of getting rid of this tree in the first place? And I was like, yeah, I'll try putting it in the ocean. And Dimple's like, well, that's like not gonna work. That's gonna be impossible.
But at the same time, he's just like, you know what? That's what scares me most about you is I can't say that.
I can't say that.
I can't say that with full confidence
uh,
that you can't do it.
and then it's so good. Like this is what I live for with Mob Psycho 100 is these little character interactions. And
Yeah.
so as they're walking, they get close to the exit and about to emerge out into the back outside the tree.
Oh, dude, you
And
get this really like I
then
love the voice actor for the tree. Oh my
mhm,
gosh, this
another
man so good.
another
Oi.
fucking yeah, it's got this deep menacing voice, menacing and emotionless
Oi.
voice.
It's just like
Um,
that guttural, fucking
yeah,
deep voice that every man wishes that he has. Like,
yeah. And so this is where I had a feeling that at some point there would be some kind of plot point involving the tree having a will of its own or having its own um consciousness manifest somehow.
yeah,
And I'm so glad it's partially right because like this is such a cool sequence. The tree has been feeding off the energy, and it sees Mob as the ultimate source of
like food
sustenance because of
source.
his power. Because of his power, this tree is
But
willing to
it
absorb Mob completely
it
after it's
really
had a
makes
taste of
you
his power.
yeah, it really makes you think too that, I wonder if it became sentient before or after Mob drained all of its power into the
I
tree.
have a feeling since Dimple was sort of the host of it, Dimple was able to sort of keep it under bay, but once he severed himself from it,
So you think
it
that it was already
um
had arisen?
it probably already was like gaining consciousness. Either that or the moment after Dimple disconnects from it, it probably started feeding from him, and it just that gave it the little push it needed to come back.
Maybe.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, but either way, I had a feeling this would happen because there's a lot of things such as like the dragger where a
Yeah.
something manifests due to so much energy being poured into it.
So we can
Um,
both be happy with the agreements that we
and
were
with
both
with
right.
our theories, yeah. So
we
we're
were.
technically both right in slightly different ways.
It's just great that
Um,
both of our theories came to light, and
yeah,
I love it so much.
I like the transition for like the ad break in this, where first it's on the tree, and then it just cuts to this menacing black and white photo animation of like the tree coming to life, basically.
Yeah,
And
it's so cool. But so it stops Dimple, and
yeah,
Dimple's just like he's just like you can leave that behind, and he's talking about Mob, and Dimple's just like yeah, no way that's happening. You can't have him, and we get the coolest, most visually stunning fight
mm-hmm.
in this whole anime so far.
Dude,
Oh my
I still
gosh.
think the stuff with Mogami and the whole entire arc during the last bit of season 2 is still up there. But
It's I don't know,
this
man.
shit is fucking this shit's fucking bonkers as well.
I don't know.
Um,
This is really topping for me, but
but
God,
um,
dude, it
one thing
looks
I
crazy.
like the movement of the like the psycho helmet, the tree manifest, because like it's super stiff, it's unnatural. It flails, and when it jumps, it doesn't really care about if it hits anything.
Yeah, because I mean,
It just
it's infinite.
it's infinite. It feels no
It
pain,
feels
nothing.
no pain.
It's a living plant.
It
Like
just
it just
throws itself consistently and constantly
yeah.
at the enemy until it gets what it wants. And that's
Hmm.
scary to think about. Like that's just
Yeah.
like
Um,
terrifying to think
this
that
is
that force of nature is coming for you. Like
mhm.
um
So they fucking are rushing him. He Dimple's like, I gotta protect Mob, so he leaves a barrier down because Mob
and
is passed the fuck out. Oh
yeah,
man,
and he goes
that's
in to
it's
fight these guys. And the cool like just them rushing in and he's just like just doing his thing, right? He's just doing that
dude.
epic anime craziness.
He fucking opens with a fucking haymaker.
Dude, he rushes in and just waylays this fucking broccoli guy, tears him to pieces, right? But that's not all that's left of the broccoli man. He brings out the green giant platoon, dude.
Yeah,
Like
man.
he looks up and there's fucking
Thousands
there's
of
green
them.
demons everywhere, like
They're
everywhere.
everywhere.
And he's just like, okay, I'm gonna finish this with one move. So he does his little god beam, right? But
Hmm.
as he starts to do his god beam, they all copy his
They all
god
do it as
beam.
well. That's where I think that that the bit of energy Dimple has given the tree because of him being attached to it
Yeah, so it
goes into because like they use some of his moves.
exactly. But I don't think it was just him sourcing his power to it because he was
Hmm.
collecting all the power from everyone
Yeah,
else. I think it's just the fact that he was bonded to the tree
yeah.
and they took some of his memories as he was
That's what I'm
collecting
saying. Is
that.
like some of his some of his own power was seeped into the tree.
I agree. So like
Yeah, that's
they were using his moves against him. So he dodges all of these beams that they all try to shoot at him, and they all start just diving in on him. And then he starts to realize, oh shit, this is weakening me. I forget the tree is sapping my power.
yeah.
So this man on the fly, quite literally, jumps through the top of the tree, shoots his
Ah,
god
dude.
beam, opens the top, and brings his shit to the skies. That,
And dude,
oh
they're
my
all on him like a
god.
they're all on him like a fucking barrel of monkeys.
I would, dude, that fly on shit, whatever you want to call it. These guys were on
Yeah.
his ass. Like,
Yeah.
so we get this epic scene of him flying around and just doing what the only thing I could think about in this moment in time where he was doing the zip zaps between all of them. I was thinking of Yondu's arrow.
Yeah.
That's the thing that
Basically, he's
came to
zipping
mind.
around. There's a fucking light trail behind him.
He's moving at the speed of
Um,
sound.
yeah, everyone else is also blasting their fucking lasers. That's also causing light trails and
God,
shit. And
dude,
it's just nuts. It's just fucking smoke clouds.
bro.
And what's even more scary is that there's new ones forming under. It seems almost like under each branch and or leaf.
Yeah, and we get this epic scene where he he kills all of them with his little zip zap move twice, not once but twice. And
Hmm.
then all of a sudden they're just like, okay, this ain't working. So all of a sudden you just see this really, really cool, glowing fucking every inch of the tree starts glowing with what you would know as the God beam move.
Hmm.
It starts twinkling. And then all of a sudden you see a compression of just energy just puff away from the tree. It makes like a
Yeah,
fucking nuke cloud hit the ground.
it's
And
so
we
so
get
fucking
this
good.
remarkable constant like energy beam of them flying around, and then on top of them shooting beams from the tree, and it's just different colors of the rainbow. It's beautiful, it's stunning, the animation's all crazy, they're all shooting at once. It's just this chaotic energy you just can't take your fucking eyes off of. It's,
Hmm.
man, it's just this type of stuff with Mob being the as emotionally taxing as it is, on top of it being both also
Yeah,
visually stunning and just beautifully like chaotic energy,
yeah.
like animated,
And
blows my fucking mind
this
every time I
and
watch it.
this whole fight here, I'd say, is a whole lot stronger than what it would have been if they just went, "Hey, I know Mob just fights Dimple."
Yeah, so it that
Like it's
the it
we got denied one full fight in exchange for one that's equally sick
it yeah, I
and
will
more
agree.
and more
Well,
and a whole
they
lot
couldn't go
more
ahead.
like poignant. I guess you could say.
They couldn't take the fight away from the fans. So, but they
Hmm.
wanted to do it in a way that's becoming of Mob. So this was the perfect way.
Hmm.
Um, but it ends it kind of ends the fight with him busting up into the sky, and then all of a sudden you just see mirror images of constant broccoli men surrounding him in the
Yeah,
sky,
dude.
and you just get
It's
this
just
like overwhelming chill, like spine chilling scream from Dimple, and it cuts to
yeah.
black.
It cuts back.
And we get
Yeah. Well,
another tracking shot from the eye. We just talked about it in Chainsaw Man. He
hmm.
wakes up and he can see Dimple with his eyes, and it's tracking to Dimple in his eye movement, which is,
Hmm.
this
It's
scene
really
is
nice.
crazy good.
And it starts off blurry until his focus comes back, and it's real good. And so Dimple is just like, "Hey, Bob, what's up?" He's like, "Well, what happened? I thought we'd be home." Yeah, I was tired. It's just I take a break. I was taking a break,
Yeah, man, this part right
and
here, this scene,
this part is just
so
man,
emotional,
it's
dude.
so emotional. And he's like talking very soft. It's like, oh shit, and you see like there's like a scar on one of his dimples.
Yeah, like you can just see
It's like,
part of his
oh,
face kind of
this
cut.
is this is probably not going to be good.
No.
And he's like, "Oh, can you get up?" He's like, "Oh man, I can't really." And this is where shit gets kind of real, where he's like, I don't like doing it, but this is the I could you're in a state where I can hypnotize you right now." And
Exactly.
this is my first and last order from me that I'll give to you.
Go
Get up,
home.
go home, don't look back.
And dude,
And dude,
God,
he starts getting up, and then he goes whenever it keeps shifting between what Mob sees, because he also made it to where a Mob only sees him as regular Dimple.
yeah, just the original like green dumpling Dimple. And
Hmm.
oh my gosh, dude, this scene almost
It's
made me cry.
just
Like it was this
it was
emotional.
really sad. especially because like as he's walking, you start seeing more and more of uh how damaged Dimple is to the point where you see his full body.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
missing an arm. He's
A
missing a
chunk
leg.
out of his fucking like he's missing a chunk
He
out of his torso. Like,
he is blown to bits,
oh my gosh,
and
dude.
he knows that he's not going to be able to fully defeat this thing. That he's probably going to die, so he needs to get Mob out.
So that's what he
And
does.
it's
Mob
just and we get
takes
this whole
off.
thing where Mob looks back multiple times, and it just cuts back to him being Dimple, and he even waves back,
Yeah,
and it's just
this is
it's
dude.
right in the fucking feels, man.
It does, man. Like I'm getting kind of teary
So
eyed talking about it. Like,
it's
um,
so fucking somber, and it has this like just tone, like sad tone that's palpable throughout the entire sequence.
there's no overwhelming like emotional music, but you can feel the
Yeah.
tension through the voices of the
Hmm.
characters themselves.
Yeah.
And that's one thing with anime that I've seen so far in the newer era of anime. These voice actors are getting so fucking good at
Hmm.
emotional like feedback.
Yeah.
It's so good. And
Hmm.
when Dimple tells him to walk away and he turns back a few times and looks at him and all he can see is Dimple's old form and he just walks off and we just get this crazy background thrashing. That's all you can hear. And
Yeah.
it kept switching back to Dimple when he was walking away, but
Hmm.
his golden form, you could see just this overwhelmingly huge psycho helmet, green broccoli, giant
Behind
head
them.
behind him, like
Yeah.
looming over his entire body. So Mob's
And
walking off,
then
and you could just hear the crashing, the crumbling, the fighting, the just
yeah.
overwhelming pressure behind
And
the
then
attacks.
you see this green light fade like glowing on the tree as Mob, walks out.
Yeah, and
And
the sparkles around the tree.
yeah, and then that's where it becomes highly implied, and we find out that basically he absorbs himself into the tree so that he can get rid of it.
Yeah, the monster eats Dimple,
Yeah.
and
I think he will let himself be absorbed.
I believe so, and that's
Yeah.
the only
I think
way
he
that he could
himself
get.
went into it because the eye on
I
the
think he
big
took total control over the tree
yeah,
itself.
because the big psycho helmet has an expression change whenever
Hmm.
Dimple does it.
Well, like
Meaning, I'd
like the
say,
pimple in his eye, like pimple. I
yeah,
mean, I said pimple.
yeah,
Pupil of his eye
like
turns gold.
like it turns gold slightly, and also it looked like the pupil dilates a little,
The
as if like it's
only
surprised.
the only thing I didn't like that I took from this episode was just the overwhelming mystery behind it, to where you
Yeah,
kind of think you know what happened, but you don't know for sure. And
I'm
it
gonna say that's probably something we'll find out later on in the series.
maybe it'll re-arise. Maybe it's just one of those things that you take it how you want to take it kind of situations. Either
Yeah,
way, I'm happy with it. It was a good
yeah.
way to end it.
Uh,
And Mob walks out of the
fucking
tree. He tells everybody to go home. He goes home, sees that on TV that the tree is floating in the air, and he has no memory of what happened.
yeah.
He's
He doesn't. He remembers nothing, and it's just and then Ritsu's like, huh? Like, and then Ritsu's like, it must be like the mind control stuff is wearing off.
yeah,
So
it's
everyone's memory is gonna be a little foggy.
yeah
And
it
it just Mob's like, Mob's like, I need some rest. I'm
yeah.
tired.
So as they see the
Yeah.
tree being lifted up in the air, he's just like, "No, let's go to bed." So he's just laying there, and we get this
Oh
emotion from
man.
Mob, and Mob's just like, I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry, Dimple. And when you get
Yeah.
that phrase followed by him
Yeah.
crying and being so
Yeah.
upset, he knows that Dimple sacrificed himself to the
Uh-huh.
tree.
It's like he doesn't know exactly what happens, but at the same time, he can feel the loss, and it's just,
To think one of your best friends sacrificed themselves to save you, it fucking hits you hard. And I'm like, seriously, dude, I'm so emotional about it
Yeah.
right now. I'm so
Yeah, dude, it's like
it's got me it's got me misty right now.
mhm,
um, but that's where the end it ends right there.
it
And
ends right there. One thing I do want to say about this is I like how throughout from this entire arc where as soon as he enters the tree, his goal was always I want to talk to him. I'm going to talk to him. And the fact that we get that he does and just ends up talking to him. It's such a nice like little through line for this entire
it
little
really
arc.
shows the dedication that Mob has and the
Mhm.
tenacity that Mob has that
Mhm.
you just can't overlook.
Yeah.
It's emotionally just compelling and overwhelming. This episode was very, very, very good. And
Mhm.
with all this emotion,
Extremely
all this
good.
stuff that happened in this episode, we get cut to one of the most emotionless episodes I've
Yeah.
ever. I almost just
I
I didn't enjoy
It's fine.
it.
It's all right. It's a
It's
little like in between episode. It's like how a good example I always have is like so My Hero Academia has this dynamic where it's one big actiony arc followed by a small set of chapters into a small arc where it's a lot more laid back.
like the
So
episode
like
of the
so like
festival.
so so like in My Hero Academia, like with or like so like the festival would be one, or say you start season two with the tournament thing, and then after that it's the training with Gran Torino,
Yeah,
where it's a lot more laid back, the stakes are lower. Or the best one is
I
you go
wouldn't
from the
say that's
intensity.
lower because he did like a couple days of training and
Yeah,
then it
yeah, I
went
know, but I'm saying
straight.
it's like what I'm saying is it's not it's not a super emotionally heightened arc.
If I had to
Like say,
compare the if I had to compare it to anything personally, I'd compare it to Fairy Tale, what they
yeah,
do, because it goes into this huge arc where everybody's just super like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna fight for my friends, this is what I do,
yeah,
friends forever,
hmm
emotional, like super cool, like
um,
action shit to
or like
filler.
or like back to My Hero Academia, like or like better yet, the transition from the overhaul arc to the whole like I said, the whole festival arc
Yeah, yeah.
with Gentle Criminal. Where that one, like, it's still emotionally poignant. Actually, the Gentle Criminal shit's probably like some of my favorite stuff in My Hero
I
Academia.
will agree. The
But it's
gentle
still
criminal stuff was fucking awesome. Like
awesome. Like him as a character, his whole
it,
deal
like it makes you feel for the first villain
makes
ever.
you, dude. By the end of that, I was fucking when I read the manga for it. When I got to the end of that, I was fucking crying. Like that shit was like super emotional.
It was pretty
Um,
rough.
mhm.
It was pretty rough, but
But yeah, but it's like that. So this episode is just like a small. It's referred to as a transmission.
it's all
So like
about
it's just it's a very just
it's more or less just about what's her name? I can't remember her name.
Tome.
Tomei um wanting it's getting close to graduation and she realized
Hmm.
that they only have three more months until graduation. And
Yep.
she's just like, what have we done in the years that we've had this club? And she goes to the members, she's like,
Yeah.
we have to dedicate ourselves. And the members are just like, no, this is what it's always been. This is stupid. Why would we actually do that?
Yeah.
And she gets really depressed about it. And she's
Dude,
just like,
she releases the big vape.
she does, dude. She gets so frustrated that the biggest exhale of like that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Props to the voice actor.
Yeah, because
It was like a
it,
good like 10 or so
it
seconds.
it it had to have been hard to like. I wonder if they just like looped a breath sequence so well
I
because
doubt it.
it
I
would
doubt it.
that had to have been practiced for sure
Uh-huh.
because
More
that
definitely, but I doubt it was extended or edited to make it seem longer than it was.
yeah, maybe, but either way, she gets really frustrated. She starts crying and she's like, well, if you guys aren't going to take it seriously, I'm disbanding the club. Have fun.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I'm done. And she does. She leaves. And the members take this so seriously that they start dedicating themselves to trying to find a telepath.
Yeah, they're like, man, we just want to find a fucking telepath.
Just for
So
Tomei.
yeah,
So they're just sitting there, they're trying to figure out what to do, so they come across my boy Mob and they use him.
yeah.
So they go
It's
to this
like,
house, they show up, Mob comes out, he's like, "So what's up?" And they're just like, "Well, for one, why the fuck have you not been answering your phone? What the fuck?" And two, we need to find a telepath and we need your help.
mm-hmm.
Um and Mob, of course, he's just like, "Okay, cool, whatever, let's do it." And so he brings out the big guns.
Yeah,
We get the Minecraft squad.
yeah, man. So he's like, at first, he's like, man, I'm not a telepath. I'm a psychic. I can't do telepathy. But and then he's just like, yo, I know some people. So you got Steve
Steve.
and his brother. They're here. They're like, yo, yeah, we might can help you out. Like, sadly, we can only communicate with each other. But all telepaths basically have a dog whistle functionality.
Yeah, it's like the only way that you can telepathically connect with another telepath besides your own connection is by emitting a powerful sound that only telepaths can hear. And essentially,
Mm-hmm.
that's what a dog whistle does. But
Yeah.
so their theory to make this work is to use their own power, which is to emit the sound, to expand it to where they can hear that, make other people hear it. So in order to give them enough power to do that, their plan is to use Mob's just immense unlimited amount of power to feed them to amplify the sound that they can create, which is
Mm-hmm.
genius, by the way. This is a
Yeah.
cool ass like plan. This is the
His,
only thing
yeah,
about the
dude.
whole episode that I just really enjoyed. It was very detailed. It gave you the details of what they were trying to do, and it was very like uh, informative, essentially. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll let you go from here.
All right, so yeah, so they're out. They've gone to the club room, and they're sitting down. They're doing it. It's big. Reese is a little worried that Mom's putting too much power into it, but this Minecraft boy is like, yo, we can take it. We can barely take it, but we can still take
We
it.
could take it. This is the only
It's
way
all
that this
good.
is going to work. Like,
And then someone comes in. Hey, who was it? It's that fucker who left the club from the first season.
yeah, it made the
He's-
club. It made the club disband to begin with because nobody else
Yeah,
wanted to join their stupid telepathy club.
yeah, man. So he comes in. He's on like the tennis club, and he's like, yeah, we're here practicing
Well, they're
throughout
running.
because this
They're
this is all
exercising.
this is all during winter break. Which it sucks that if you're on a fucking athletic club, you have to do exercise, do training during cold ass winter break.
Yeah, that would suck. But
Uh huh.
if
But
you
they're
do
doing
it
that
enough,
shit.
you kind of get used to it.
And he's at first he's like a real fucking asshole. He's like, oh, what the fuck you guys doing here? And he first to and like so Mob while he's there, Mob starts back up again. He's like, oh man, you fucking self-proclaimed psychics. What's up with this, huh? And as soon as I like how it's slightly subtle because when he comes in, his ear starts to twitch a little.
Yeah, I noticed.
And
Yeah,
then I like that little thing. And then as soon as Mom starts back up, he immediately it starts affecting him way more than anybody in the room. Like it's like Mob's output is affecting Ritsu and some of the other people
well,
in there.
it's amplifying the sound tremendously.
But it's even more intense for this dude here. And I like the little ad transition because it shows
Oh
that the
yeah,
reach is going all the way out to where it's reaching the fucking Awakening Lab kids.
yeah. The Awakening Lab kids, and then on top of that, it reaches Reagan and his
It
new
reaches
disciple.
Reagan and Sarazawa.
And they also get that
Um,
little like shiver, like what the fuck is that
yeah.
sound? And
So that's where I'd say this episode takes a slight turn for me, like because I like this little bit coming up, where it's like they found out, oh, this dude's a telepath, and
I
he starts
do
talking
like
about how
I do like the additive of an old character
yeah,
and why he quit in the first place.
Yeah.
I found this to be really, really cool, but continue.
So like it's like he's talking about his experience with his powers, where he grew up, he realized, oh, the kindergarten teachers have different feel differently in their thoughts than they do with what they say. And then he realized how troublesome his powers can be after he got in trouble after telling his mom something that his dad thought.
Shit, yeah.
And man, like that shit's like shit, man. Like this guy probably caused a fucking divorce or something.
Well, like,
Almost.
he caused some very big trauma for a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah. Like imagine
Uh,
like, just having a fucking affair and this kid just freaks it up all of a sudden. But
hey, like, who's this strange woman
he's
who keeps
grown
coming home?
but because of this, he's grown to slightly resent his powers and even like use them to like attack other people with it. Like he would over project his thoughts to like overload their brain with noise or scare the shit out of people. And he talks about like I'm not gonna fucking help you guys because like I don't want you using my powers, something that my powers that I hate for your own use. And that's when Mob steps in. It's like, hey, like, um, we're not forcing you to do it if you don't want to, but you know, it'd be great if you would be willing to cooperate. And he starts going on this whole spiel about like, you know, I also like don't sometimes hate my powers and I don't like them and wish I didn't have them, but I can't change that. I have them. They're a part of me.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
like this.
considering,
I love this, like, just
yeah.
spiel that Mob gives to make
And it's
him,
like the
like,
sooner you like,
recenter what he thinks about himself. I think this is gonna
it's like the
be.
sooner you accept it, the better it'd be
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. And it's just really nice. It shows how far Mob has come, and it's to the to the point where this guy's, you know what? Okay, maybe so. Maybe we'll give it a try. I like how also this guy also wears earplugs to shut out the voices,
Yeah, he
but
wears, yeah.
but the noise still persists nonetheless.
So, like, he just
It's like
throws
you can't get
his.
away from the noise.
So with this new information that they have to find out that he is indeed a um telepathic.
Oh, I like how he demonstrates his power as
Oh yeah,
well.
like he
Where
he he gets inside of, like, each of the members' heads without talking. He speaks to their
yeah,
brain, and it's cool
it,
because, like, in most, like, things like this, when somebody's talking in your brain, like, in most animes they depict it as, like, just this normal thing. But, like, in
yeah.
this anime, it really freaks people out. Like, it
Well,
hits their brain, just
it's
like, what was that? Like,
it's like you're literally hearing a voice, not like with your ears, but with your head, like in your head.
imagine how fucking tingly that would be.
Which I'm sure it'd feel like weird
Yeah.
and whatnot. So it throw you off. And it's even to the point where he reads one of the members is like rude thoughts, and it's like, listen, man, you don't got you don't got to be saying that. Um, I like how another thing I like is like Ritsu tries to be so. What was Mob thinking? And he's like, oh man, you must think yourself inferior to your brother. And he's like, what? Did you read my mind? He's like, nah, man, I'm just also good at reading people.
He's like, I just understand your emotions just by you looking at them. And he's like, I don't tend to
uh,
pry on that type of situations because I like to keep that stuff special. And see,
yeah,
he starts to, he turns in, he goes from a Becky to a really considerably awesome person. Like, just
yeah.
does like a 180 just instantaneously. So
And given his perspective, I don't blame him for leaving the telepathy club.
yeah, because he went in there with false pretenses. And when he
Yeah, like he
find out
thought
that
like
everybody was just fake, he
and
left.
just and they're just hanging out and not actually doing what they're setting out to do. He's like, I'm fucking bored of this.
He joined in
I
hopes to find another telepath, like
Another
someone.
telepath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he wanted, and he didn't. He thought that he
Hmm.
oversaw his dream, and it burned him up inside. So he just, like, just resented the whole club for that, which is like,
Hmm.
understandable, to a certain degree. But with all this information, they formulate a plan, and they're just like, okay, cool, we got this now. We're gonna invite the president to go UFO searching with our newfound telepath to call upon the UFOs. And we got to go to the
Uh-huh.
highest peak of all of the realms.
Oh yeah.
And so their plan is to take the president up to the top of the I think it was Mount Mud. Um,
Mudboat. I want to say
Mud is it Med Boat?
mud. It's mud something
Okay,
is another word, but
Mount
it's mud
Mudboat.
something.
I think it's Mudboat. I think you're right. I think it's
I
Mudboat.
think it's mudboat.
Mount
Um,
Mudboat and call upon the UFOs. So they call up the president. They're just like, hey, so come join us at so and so time at so and so place. And she's like, no, y'all are very welcome to go. That's fine, but I'm focusing on my schoolwork since it's getting so close to the test time. So
yeah,
forget it. So they're freaking out. They're just like, okay, well, what's the point of us doing this? But they end up trying to go anyway. And as they get to the bus stop and they're constantly trying to call their president, she
yeah.
shows up fucking anyway.
Mhm. One thing I do want to say is there's a little small scene before this with Reagan in his office with Sarazawa. And I like how I like how Sarazawa's not quite at the forefront, but every now and then we'll cut back to him and see how he's progressing.
Yeah, so
And
he's still studying for his night classes.
studying for his night classes. He's doing homework for it. He's going to Reagan asks him if he wants to go out drinking for New Year's. And he's like, "Nah, man, I got an end of year party with my with some of my classmates."
Which is
It's like sick.
cool.
He's making social
Yeah,
connections and he's
he's
growing.
making progress.
He's making big progress, and that's great.
Yeah, it's
That's
fantastic.
really awesome. I'm glad, especially with how horrible his life was up before that.
Yeah,
It's great to see the turnaround. And so Reagan's gonna take them up to Mount Mudboat, but oh, what happens? He fucking accidentally oversleeps because his alarm clock dies.
poor Reagan, and
Yeah, he's free.
he's always preaching about punctuality or
Yeah,
punctuality, and I said punctuality,
yeah, that's all good.
punctuality. So we get this scene of him freaking out, and then they meet the president at the bus stop. She's like, "Well, I kind of just bailed on my studying, so are we gonna do this or not?" She's like, and they're like, "Yeah, sure. We're just waiting on this guy to get here, this profound telepath." And they're sitting there and they're waiting, and nobody can get a hold of him, and he's late, and I think an hour goes by. And the president's like, "Oh, you're fucking with me.
You're fucking
Uh,
with me. Come on,
you
man. Why
didn't
you
really
wasting my
find one. Like,
time?
why did you lie to me?" And they're just like, "No, we found one. We promise." And then they come in, and he finally ends up making it. He just overslept, which is kind of
Dude,
a
so many
dip in
people were
plot. Like,
oversleeping
annoys me.
during this. Oh, what? Uh,
But
you there?
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so he ends up showing up and he's sweating, and because he ran all the way there, and they're just like, "Oh
hmm
crap, we got to meet Reagan. He probably done ditched on us because Reagan agreed to take all the kids to drive them up to Mount Mudboat." Um, and so they rush over to the alleyway, and Reagan's sitting there just chilling, and they're just like,
hmm
"We're sorry, we're late. We're sorry, we made you sit here." But the joke's on them. He arrived 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah, that's great. Is the fact that he thinks he's gonna be super late,
But they ended
and
up being late anyway.
it ended up that the telepath guy is way later than even Reek.
Yeah, and so at this point, the president's just kind of nonchalant about the whole thing. She doesn't really care. She doesn't believe that the old uh, member of their squad is an actual telepath, and they're trying to prove to her like, yeah, he is. So that they finally reach their destination, but that's part one. They cut it off right there, which
Yeah, they
is
cut it off
weird
there.
for a you know for a like a plot filler.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that it's sunk into two parts.
Yeah.
This is the part about it that just annoys me a little bit. It's just like
Yeah.
it's a plot about a side character in the show, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool to a certain degree. You get that, the lore and the character building and shit. But I don't know. I didn't like this
It's
personally.
just.
I don't like this episode except for the mob
Mm-hmm.
part where he integrated his powers in. That's about the only part
Yeah.
that I just kind of appreciated, that and the telepath actually using his powers. Um,
It's yeah. It's just like it's just a small bit of partial downtime while we rev up for whatever the final arc is going to be.
yeah, yeah.
Which is fine because listen, like you don't got to constantly go all out. You need that. Sometimes the small breaths of brevity and whatnot are equally as important as your major story points.
I guess I'm just on a more biased opinion
I
about it
think
because of the previous episode. It built me up
I
so
think
hard.
it's that, and also I think we're watching this weekly. We're not binging it,
That's
so
very
it
true.
leaves you with a
Yeah.
different. It leaves you with a different taste in your mouth than if you were to watch it
Dude,
all
I
the
was
way
just about to
through.
say that. It leaves you with a weird taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
But given that, it wasn't a terrible
yeah.
episode. I guess I'm just on a biased opinion about it, which is
Now, if it
whatever.
carries on like that for
The rest of
more
the
than
anime?
two,
Oh my gosh, dude.
then yeah, that'd be a different thing.
That'd be a
But right
cop
now,
out. Like that would just
but that which I'm pretty sure it won't. But
no. I feel like Dimple has more to play.
mhm. But that
But
is just a small, nice breather after the heavy ass shit of Dimple of good night, my sweet prince.
yeah.
We'll see. If you do come back, I'm sure it'll be. If you do come back in some form, I'm sure it'll be done in a very sick way
You know what I
because
really think?
we don't know what happened to that tree.
You know what I really think? I
Mm-hmm.
think that they're actually going to use the telepath, but the telepath is going to connect to Dimple.
Perhaps.
It's just a theory, not a very
Mm-hmm.
strong one,
Yeah.
but I kind of, in the back of my mind, it's sitting there like, it could happen. It
Mm-hmm.
could happen. Um, but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've pretty much
But
said my piece on it.
this is what I feel like is probably the equivalent. It's not as good as what I'm about to mention, but it's almost like the equivalent of the track meet episode
Track meet.
in
Oh,
season two.
no.
No, in
No.
that it's no in that it's a small it's an in between episode.
I don't know. The
Um,
track meet episode held a lot more ground than this
that's
one
why I
did.
said that's why I said it's better. That's why it's better.
I
It's
was
like
about to say, I was
it's a
just like, I
it's
don't
a it's
know.
a
This is
no, it's not on the same. It's not on the same. What I'm saying is it's on that similar wavelength where it's like a small buffer, but in my opinion the track meet episode's way better
um.
than this one.
So the way I preview this one, or the way that I look at this one rather, is this is the first episode in the entire series from season 1 through 3 that has been just a weirdly normal episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's underwhelming compared to the rest of the episodes to me, but
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, with knowing that the episode was a part 1, I
Yeah.
feel like it's building up the plot to the part
to
2.
something.
Something crazy is going to
Yeah.
happen in part 2 because not everything can be crazy in plot building. I can agree with
Yeah.
that. And if they do something crazy within the next episode, I'll drop my biased opinion on how bad the episode
Mm-hmm.
was because it
Um,
needed to happen with the integrated option or the action that
yeah.
happened within the part 2. So it just depends
Mhm.
on how part 2 turns out.
Yeah. But we'll see. If even if the arc isn't particularly, if even if the small two-parter is not particularly enthralling, I have a feeling that it'll have a small lead in or cliffhanger for the whatever the ending arc is going to be. Because I have a feeling
I
that
agree.
after this, because we'll
We're
have
going to get into
only
the gritty.
that'll be episode 8, meaning there's only going to be about 4 more episodes
Yeah,
after that, which will probably either 4 or 5, depending on if they do a 13th episode, like like season 2?
Part 2, I feel like is going to be a lead-in and build up for the finale, like
Yeah,
the finale.
the
Um,
finale.
so if part 2 damn, God, I'm tongue tied. If part 2 turns out to be, this crazy just back to action, and it builds up, I can forgive the part 1. So,
Yeah.
but with that being said, if you ain't got anything else to add, Bob Stowe,
Um, I'm sad.
I'm sad. I'm very
That's
sad as
all.
well.
That's all I can say is I'm a sad boy.
But with all this somber and
In a
sadness,
heart, there is a dimple-shaped hole in my heart
I will agree that the
that
hole is
was
about the
ripped.
same size as his 2 dimples on his face.
Maybe that. Maybe that hole will be filled. Maybe it'll remain.
We'll find out
Regardless,
on the next episode of
I,
Dragon Ball Z.
the hole remains. Oh
um,
yeah, but
but
no, other than that, like, hey, hopefully the next episode will be a bit more enthralling, and if not, it'll definitely probably be building towards something that definitely is.
yeah, I agree.
Other than that, it's like,
Possibly.
hey, if you like what you heard, maybe give us a like, subscribe if you're not
Subscribe
subscribed.
even.
If you're not subscribed, you better, because I'm gonna bully you. Don't maybe do it.
Subscribe
I'll
before
take
you.
them.
Look, guys, for
I'll
every subscriber that don't subscribe to us, he hits me. Save me. Save
Yeah,
me.
I give him a light little smack because that's
It
how aggressive I
hurts.
am.
It hurts.
Yeah, man.
It hurts.
It's
And
more so
I'm
the
bald,
feeling
so
behind.
it feels a
Yeah,
lot worse.
I smack him on the bald spot.
Which is my
I
whole head
cover him
because I don't
and
have a bald spot
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, man. But yeah, that's what I do. It's very light, but but it hurts more because the intent behind it's way more intense than the actual hit itself.
Yeah.
But you better subscribe, because if not, I'll come to your house. I'll undo all your bread clips so your bread goes stale and moldy in the
I'll
morning.
throw away all of your bread ties.
I will throw away all your bread ties. So you got nothing. I will
Nothing.
open that milk. I will replace. I'll place your milk in an expired bottle of milk.
You know what I will do?
What? What are you gonna do?
You know what I'm gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
You ready for this?
Yeah. I'm ready. Tell me.
I'm
What are you
gonna
gonna
pour
do?
water all over your bath mats.
Dude, hell yeah. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. It's gonna be like someone came and fucking pissed all over your bath
Yeah,
mats.
you're gonna wake
You
up
like
to
that?
mildew in your bathroom. How do you feel about
Yeah.
that?
It's gonna smell. It's gonna smell nice and moldy in
So
there.
so don't you forget to subscribe.
If you forget to subscribe, yeah. You don't want me to make you into my little bully boy,
So
cause I'll,
so
cause I'll
with
do it.
so Bob
So that's
Stowe,
what that.
take us away.
Yeah.
Take us away.
So yeah, I'm Bobsto, the Elder Weeb.
And Red, the bald-headed wonder.
You just got done watching the Anime Boys,
The
and
anime
we'll see.
boys.
And the Anime Boys, and we'll see ya. So
See
you
ya.
better subscribe if you know it's good for you. I'm gonna beat you up.
Subscribe.
I'm gonna give you a little
Subscribe.
punch. Subscribble. Yeah.
Good. Goodbye.
So see ya, boys.
See ya.